As the season winds down for the Kitchener Rangers, I thought it would be a great opportunity to catch up with our three overagers here at the Rogers TV studio. So I am thrilled to be joined by Matthew Sop from the Kitchener Rangers. Matt, thanks for taking time to chat with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
First and foremost, we talk about it a lot on our broadcast. You're the kid from Kitchener. You grew up a Kitchener Rangers fan. Maybe take me back to your early Kitchener Rangers fandom and what you remember about it.
Yeah, I think ever since I was earliest memories is 10 years old of just, me buzzing around the odd as a little guy, going up into the nosebleeds because that was our favorite spot to watch the games and, going with all my buddies. I think, it was kind of like a tradition around here. Like once a week you'd go to a Ranger game. Like it's just so known around here. So that's kind of like, it was a huge part of my life.
You and I had an opportunity last week to just walk around the odd together, and you told me some of those stories and you showed me some of those places. One of the things you said to me was like, I wish I could watch the games, when I'm playing, because you remembered it so well. Like what kind of memories did that walk around the odd that we had stir up for you?
Yeah, I think the more we started walking, the more places we went, I was saying, it opens up so many memories. I mean, whether that's, being up in the nosebleeds, as I said, with all my buddies, maybe with some girls that we're going to the games with or something, meeting up or whatever it was. I mean, it brought back so many memories. I mean, just watching so many great players come through the odd, it's been spectacular.
I love that we walked up and the first thing you said to me is like, Braden Bowman's parents had seats right over there, and you can still remember exactly where those seats were.
Oh, yeah.
When you were a kid, who were maybe a couple of your favorite Kitchener Rangers?
Yeah, I think guys I always name are guys like Darby Llewellyn, Adam Mascarin, Cole Sherwood, Brock. Oh, there's a lot of great players that that are really fun to watch. But a guy that I was always always watching was Darby Llewellyn. I think was a guy that I looked up to, and just the way he played, I think it was hard every game. I mean, as a kid, you look at these guys and you're like, oh my gosh, like these guys are, the best of the best. So I think I was shocked by everyone, but those were just a few.
Your road to the OHL wasn't really traditional, right? You took a creative route and you got there eventually. Maybe tell us a bit about your experience trying to get to the OHL.
Yeah, I mean, I tried out for pretty much every junior B team around here in the books, and it is what it is. I mean, they took some other great players, but they didn't want me. So, I was actually out at a summer league skate that I would do every year called the Carnival League, and a trainer through a friend of a friend came out and watched me play on the Mississauga Chargers, and then told the coach, like, you got to watch this kid. And he watched me, and I was blessed enough to get them to sign me, like just from them watching that, and the rest is history. It was a blessing to go there. I mean, it was such a great organization. Don't have enough good things to say about Joe Washrook, my coach. So he was great.
I bet when some of those junior B teams look at you now as one of the elite scorers in this league, they wish they wouldn't have taken a pass on that young Matthew Sop. Okay, your first game. I was there. We've talked about this before. February 29th, 2020. Owen Sound Attack. What do you remember about that game?
Oh, I was so nervous. I remember I'm like coming to the odd because we're about to leave for the bus, and I got my head down. I don't know what to say to any of the guys. I mean, they're all so much older, and I'm just like this little, this little guy. And I was so nervous, but the guys were really welcoming. Like guys like Demi and Jancis, guys like the older guys, they were really welcoming. And about the game, I don't remember much, to be honest. I pretty much blacked out, but I do remember just giving the puck to Howell, and he basically went end-to-end for my first assist, which was nice. Yeah,
he went beast mode that day. Yeah. So your first game, we happened to be shooting a Rogers documentary, and then you've got this guy you've never seen before shoving a microphone in your face, asking you about your OHL debut, but you handled it like a champ, and we've had 4 years of great interviews since then, Matt. Okay, so that's your first OHL game, but as a Kitchener fan, there's the first game at the odd.
Yeah.
So tell me about coming through that big silver door and taking the walk down High Five Alley into the ice on the odd for the first time.
Yeah, I remember my buddies were down at the High Five Alley screaming my name, like as I'm walking out for warm-up, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like as soon as I stepped out there, it really kind of sinked in that you're like, wow, okay, you're playing at the odd now. I was definitely so scared, but it was an amazing feeling.
You've got a couple of your junior Rangers teammates and friends that are in the OHL as well. So when you see guys like Braden Bowman and Marco Sikic across the ice, they're competitors, but do you feel a sense of pride knowing that you guys were all pretty good on that Kitchener Junior Rangers team.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get in arguments all the time. Like, I know just like me, Mats, and Marty about who the best minor midget team was. And so I'm always riding out for my guys, Sikic, Bowman. I mean, those guys, they're great players in this league now. And, you know, it's great to see that we all do well. It just, you know, it goes to show that the KMHA system does really well for players.
As a local kid, you didn't have a billet family. You lived at home with your mom. Do you feel that you missed out on the billet experience at all, or was there comfort in being at home?
No, it's definitely comfortable. Definitely comfort. I mean, my parents do so much for me, and you know, my mom will cook every single meal for me, so I'm pretty spoiled with that. And no, I was lucky enough to live at home, and I don't think I'd have it any other way.
I've seen and talked to both of your parents individually at games, and you know, your dad sent me some great pictures of you as a young kid playing hockey. Maybe you can talk a bit about your dad and what he's done for you through your hockey career.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can put it into words, but I mean, he's done so much for me. I mean, he drove me every single day to Mississauga for me to play junior hockey at the start of my junior career. I mean, he sacrificed so much, his time, his work. I mean, you know, when I really think about it, it's hard to even put it into words how much he's done. And both my parents, I mean, the sacrifices they make, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm really blessed.
One of the great traditions here in Kitchener is the Fan Fest right before the season. And I know you remember being a kid waiting in line for autographs from the Kitchener Rangers at Fan Fest. And now you've been one of those guys signing autographs for all those kids. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means the world. I mean, I remember when I was one of those little buggers running around, you know, have my mini stick out, probably annoying the Rangers, but, you know, like you take it for granted. I mean, like now it's like, oh my gosh, you know, I wish every single moment I just sunk in and I was like, wow, you know, these kids really want my autograph, you know, like I'm really here, I'm really doing this, you know, but, you know, it's a great feeling. Being
one of those little annoying kids running around, do you make a little more time for the kids now, remembering that?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I try to, you know, whenever there's kids around, I try to, you know, give them my full attention, give them my full time. I mean, I remember when I was one of those kids, imagine if an older guy like me, you know, went up to them, talked to them, even if it's just a little conversation. I mean, it can make their day. I mean, I know it made mine, so.
You're going to spend your entire OHL career as a Kitchener Ranger. Once that OA deadline passed, it was cemented. You wouldn't be going anywhere else. What does that mean to you to only wear the one uniform?
Yeah, it means the world to me. I mean, being a part of this organization, it's such a first class. It's the best organization in the CHL and all of junior hockey. I mean, it means the world, and you know, you're representing something bigger than, you know, just, you know, the logo itself. Like it's a full, you know, like you got to be a good community person. You got to be, you know, disciplined like everywhere you go. So you know, you're representing a lot more than just the logo, and you know, it's an honor for me to be able to do that.
Every team has 3 overagers, but the 3 overagers on the Rangers this year are you, Simon Motu, and Mitchell Martin. Yeah. And I don't know that I've seen 3 guys that have been as close as you guys have been. You're really tight. You arrived here today together. Yeah. I see how you interact off the ice. What is it about the 3 of you and the bond you have?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are like my best friends in the entire world. I mean, they mean the world to me. I would do anything for those guys. And, you know, it's just growing up with them, going through our careers together. I think just with, you know, the highs and lows, you know, you spend it with them, and you know, those guys are my brothers now, so it's been great.
So at the time we're recording this, it's before the end of the season, before the playoffs have started. So I'm going to preface these next 2 questions with the knowledge that maybe the answer has yet to take place.
Hopefully.
Okay, but up until this point, what has been your favorite goal that you've scored for the Kitchener Rangers?
Yeah, I think it's got to be the penalty shot at the in overtime against Guelph. I think you know, just being in that moment, you know, I know I practiced that move so many times, and for it to be me to be able to use it in a penalty shot like that with everyone watching, I think it's definitely one of my favorites.
That place was crazy. That place was so loud. How did you zone that all out to be able to focus on that moment?
Yeah, I remember me and Mats actually were watching this movie about Jesse Owens, how he was running in the Olympics, and before he ran, as he was getting set to go, you know, he just zones out, and all the fans and everything around him, you know, they kind of just disappear, and it's just him, he's just won with, you know, his race, and that's kind of how I felt with the puck. It was kind of just me there, and I honestly didn't even hear anything else around me. So that's kind of how I felt, and yeah.
That's incredible. I know years back you're going to look at that and be pretty happy with that answer. Okay, listen, at some point in the playoffs, and I'm sorry to say it like this, but you're going to take the ice at the odd for one last time. You're going to walk out that door. I know you always walk out last.
Yeah.
You walk out last, and the last thing you do before you hit the ice is you and I have a fist bump right before you go out. How are you going to feel when you take the odd ice for the last time?
Yeah, I mean, you just saying that just gave me chills. I can't lie. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be a really big full circle moment, and I think I'm really going to appreciate everything. You know, I think that's the kind of day where I can really just sit back, relax, and, you know, just breathe and say, you know, I earned this, you know, and it's going to be a great feeling, but definitely some tears might be shed, so keep the camera away from me.
Yeah, well, you certainly did earn it. Listen, I want you to look at this picture over here because I got some great pictures, like I said, for you, Dad. Look at this kid, little young Matt Sop over there. Okay, so he's just drafted to the Kitchener Rangers. He's going to play his first game in a year or two. He's yet to play an OHL game. What advice do you have for that kid before he embarks on his OHL career?
I would tell him just believe in himself. I mean, I think my whole life that's kind of been the thing, you know. I've kind of been counted out, or, you know, not always, you know, the top guy, but I think the whole time I had belief, you know, like I know I'm a skilled player, and when I was young I was really skinny, you know, like not the biggest guy, not the fastest guy, but I think it just my confidence as it grows, you can see, you know, through my career how much better I've been. So I just tell him believe in himself.
Last question for you, probably an impossible question to ask, but Matt, what does it mean to be a Kitchener Ranger?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to even put it into words. I mean, it's been the best 4 or 5 years of my entire life. I think, you know, it's every single day you're at the rink with the guys, and you kind of take it for granted, you know, being there. And, you know, now that it flies by, I remember when Teaser was saying to me, because he lived with me my first year, he was like, yeah, just wait, it's gonna fly by. I was like, yeah, whatever. You know, I'm this young kid. You know, I'm just, you know, taking it for granted. But now it means the world, and you know, I wouldn't have rather done it any other way.
And I'm sure you're giving that same advice to the younger members on the team right now. Listen, Matt, wherever hockey takes you, I know that you've got thousands and thousands of Kitchener Rangers fans that'll be rooting for you. Once a Ranger, always a Ranger, and we can't wait to see what hockey has in store for you. Thanks for everything you've given Kitchener.
Thank you so much, Sean.
Matthew Sop.